Good morning, everybody. Let's start the day off with a little bit of creasing. First, let's do a little bit of a recap with Landon here. We gave him a quick flesh wash. We did some yellow shading on him in little places, little sweet spots. And then we gave him some veining and some blue modeling. And now we're going to move on to doing some creasing. Again, this is just my order. This could be random. It could be different every time. You do what you do, and it's going to be all right. There's no rules. I would like to show you that this is the baby that had the Sharpie mark on him. And I said, don't freak out. It's going to be fine. And it is, because look, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, but that was the Sharpie mark there. And now it's a vein, and it's pretty subtle, and no one would ever know except you and me. So there you go. You don't have to freak out if there are little bits and pieces that aren't totally perfect. Like right here, when I pounced on some of that blue, he got like this little purple bit on his nose, which I'm not totally excited about, but a couple flesh layers are going to make that go away. It's not a big deal. Now, I don't usually crease with Creasing Red. I don't know why I gave it up, because it's really an awesome color and it works perfectly. And I'm going to use the Creasing Red that comes in a Genesis starter kit or in a Bountiful Baby starter kit, because I'm assuming that most of you who are just starting got that kit. It's all the colors for $99 or something. I don't know. I can't remember. And so I'm going to give this a go and revisit this loveliness one more time with this baby and see how it works. Now, again, you know, I want to say one more time that I don't usually work with paint straight out of the bottle, but that's because I've had enough time to experiment and play. And in the beginning, I did use stuff straight out of the jar or the bottle because it's what I had, and I hadn't had enough experience to feel confident to play around with colors and stuff. And now I do, because I just love to, and I don't feel nervous about it. And you shouldn't either, but in the beginning, you know, it's just like when you go to art school, they tell you, follow the rules, learn art history, do what we tell you to do. And then when you've mastered it, break every rule and do whatever you want. And I think it's good advice. And with Reborns, it's good advice too. You know, follow the rules in the beginning and then break them later once you've learned them. That way you know why you're breaking them. Okay, so here we go. I don't want to use that straight out of there because it is thick and it is dark. So I'm going to mix a little bit of water in my cap. Again, that's not water, that is paint thinner. I call it water because basically that is how I'm using it. And if I train my brain to think that way, then I feel more comfortable with that. This lid has some dried up paint and it's chunky. Now the great thing about Genesis is it can be rehydrated. So if it dries up on your plate or your palette and you think that's a goner, I need to wipe it up and get rid of it, no sir, don't get rid of it. Again, it's like watercolor, it will reconstitute. The thing you have to make sure to do is to really mix it and break it up, because when you reconstitute it, it's going to be grainy. That's the only way to describe it. You're going to see all these little bits and bumps, and when you put it on the baby, he's going to have little dirty bits and bumps. So use your water, or your paint thinner rather. I probably shouldn't call it water and confuse you, but use your paint thinner and a brush that you don't care about, and really mix it up great until those little tiny bits of pigment are broken up into the little micro bits again. And here we go. Now I like my shading paint to be a little bit on the thicker side, and I'll mix it here on the plate again so that you can see it. The reason why I like it a little bit thicker, and you can use the thinning medium here if you like. I'm not going to because I don't feel like I need to, and here are some bits that need to be broken up. Let me get a little bit more here. And what I'm doing is I'm grinding them down. There we go. And that's how thick I like it. See, it's a slow drip. Just a slow drip. Now I'm not going to use this brush to apply it to the baby because stored in the memories of this bristle are all of those chunky bits, and I don't want those on my baby. So I'm going to get rid of that brush. And these are the brushes that I'm going to use today. And again, this is just some cheap makeup brushes that I got at Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store by where I live. Let me see, I keep going out of frame. Pardon me. I am experimenting with lighting and with the position of this camera, and I'll get it. I mean, it's a learning curve for me. Technology and I are not friends all that much, but we'll get there. I hope it's not too frustrating for you. Now with shading, what we're doing is we're creating an illusion, and that is that there's depth in all of these little creases. The artist, or the sculpt rather, if it wasn't an artist-made sculpt, has provided you with all the landmarks that you need. So everywhere that sculpt has a dip in it or a crease in it, that's where you're going to be creasing your baby. I'm going to move this up a little bit. There we go. How's that? Is that better? I hope it is. So we're going to do ears, under this chin, neck folds, wherever we see a line or an indentation in this sculpt. Let's start off with the back of the neck because that's an easy place to start. And I'm basically just painting inside that groove. Ta-da! Very, very easy. Then I'm going to play with these two brushes, and I'm just going to move that paint around. I want that paint inside that groove, but I don't want it to pull up. But I want it there, and I want it subtle. So you can see the paint is there. I'm moving it away, and I'm feathering it out into the sculpt so that the darker part stays inside and the lighter parts just slowly move out until they're gone. Don't worry about getting this exactly perfect. It doesn't matter. Again, this is super, super subtle, another super subtle thing. But creasing and blushing really do give an illusion that, you know, that this baby is real. I don't know what it is about that our eye locks onto, but we like to see some pink, and we like to see it in places that we're used to seeing it. And one more time, just to drive that point home as if I haven't already, we don't want to see a messy pool of paint inside those creases. We just want to see some color. So it shouldn't look like you drew it on in there. It shouldn't look like it's sitting in there or it's bloody. It should just look very, very pink. It looks like I'm scrubbing in here, and it's because I have some stubborn paint. The sculpt has some rough bits in there, and it's holding on to the paint, and it doesn't look good to my eye, and so I'm just trying to work it out the best that I can. So that's it for creasing this neck. I mean, that was pretty easy, right? I happen to be a super deep painter. That means that I like a lot of color, and I like things a little bit on the gaudy side as far as painting. I don't know why, I just do. It's how I draw, it's how I paint outside of reborning, and so it's part of who I am. So when I'm doing babies, I think that follows me, and it works for me most of the time. But I really admire artists who work super light, and when I see their babies just look like they were painted with little fairy touches. Everything's all pretty and soft and delicate, and that's not my way. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. It's just not my way, but I'm doing my best today. So I'm going to go around those little nose grooves. I'm going to go down this little bit here. I still have not figured out what the heck the name of that part is that dips here, and I should know that. I mean, for goodness sake. I went to nursing school. I know the names of my parts, but for the life of me, it is out of my head. I'm not going to paint lips. I do lips at the end, but I am going to just put a tiny bit of color on them. Again, like a base tan. I'm getting those lips ready for painting later. And I am barely staining that. Think of lip gloss. Think just think so subtle that it's just barely there. I'm going to do that little lip groove. I'm going to get inside those nostrils. I'm not going to, in one shot, think I'm going to take care of darkening up those nostrils. I'm not. I'm going to have to build up to that. So I'm just going to give those just one little layer. And I'm going to go around these little folds. There we go. Again, super, super subtle. This almost looks bruisey. And at this stage, it's okay for it to look bruisey. I'm going to go inside his little eyes here. Start to give them some color. And because he's an open-eyed baby, I'm going to go inside his eyelid, because if you pull down your eyelid in the mirror, you'll see it is pink. It's not red, it's just pink. And so we want him to look healthy, so we're going to make the waterline of his eye nice and pink. And remember, every layer is not the definitive layer. It means this isn't the part where you get this thing done. Everything's just a process. And at some point you have to force yourself to stop and say, look, you know what? I think we're here. I think we're done. I think this is good. No more layers. For some people that's easy because they're excited to get to the other stuff. For some people it's not so easy, like me. I like to keep painting and keep painting. And I think, ooh, maybe a little bit of this. Oh, how about a little bit of that? And I just can't stop. I just have too much fun. When I was a little kid, we used to have those, and I think they still sell them. It's like a giant Barbie head, and you could put like makeup on it and do her hair. Oh my gosh, that was probably my most favorite toy on the planet. My sister and I used to sit there for hours doing hair and makeup, and oh, we loved it so much. And this is kind of the same thing. And actually, a lot of the techniques, you know, they're based on makeup art. In the ear, I like a nice pink ear. Oh my goodness! And we're not at blushing yet, but this color is going to give a little depth inside of there, because you want it to look like there's a real ear canal, and things are going on in there that should be. I'm going to go this is here, I'll simplify this. Go all the way around the ear in a great big circle. Don't do this part of the ear. And then go inside the ear. And then let me get another one of those big brushes. I hope I have one handy. I just want one that's a little bit more dry. And then make sure that you get a drier brush and just push all that paint around. You want it in all of the little bitty places, and you don't want it pulling up. It's the little dance that we're doing. Put the paint on, take the paint off, and blend, blend, blend. Blend, blend, blend. You really, really don't want to see your brush marks. You don't want to see spongy marks. You're just leaving a little bit of a shadow every single time. And you'll see that little by little, this just builds up and builds up until it creates this really pretty effect. So there we go with the ear. Ta-da! As you get more into this, if you choose to, you'll create your own palette, colors that you like, that work for you. And I'm working with this shading color just because, or this creasing color, because it comes with the kit. And I figure, yeah, I'll have it. Let's use it. And honestly, gosh, I kind of am digging it. I don't know why I put that color away. It's pretty cool. Ta-da! So head's done.